Okay, so today we're going to be diving into something a little different,
Oh, yeah.
but I think it's going to be super interesting and relevant to, well, everyone, really.
I think so
We're
too.
taking a closer look at a YouTube video, and the guy who made it, his name is Ray Navarro.
Right, Ray Navarro. I've seen some of his stuff online. He's got quite a following.
Yeah, he's kind of all over the place. YouTube, TikTok, even Instagram and Facebook, the whole shebang.
Seems like he's good at connecting with people wherever they are.
For sure. And he's actually from San Antonio originally, but now he's living out in the Lavernia area, which is kind of cool.
Local guy making good. I like it.
Exactly. And in this particular video, he's talking about something that really caught our attention, something he calls the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Oh, yeah, I saw that one. It's about different types of people we encounter, right?
Yeah, different character types and how to kind of navigate those relationships, which I think is something we can all relate to.
Absolutely, because let's face it, we've all met those people, the good, the bad, and, well, the ugly.
Right? And Ray breaks it down in a way that's super insightful and actually really practical.
I'm interested to see what kind of wisdom he's dropping in this one.
Me too. So let's jump right in and start with the first category, the good character.
Okay, hit me with it. What makes someone a good character, according to Ray?
Well, he talks about kindness being a big one, obviously. Those people who are just genuinely kind and selfless.
Right, the ones who aren't just looking out for themselves all the time.
Exactly. And honesty, too. He emphasizes that a lot. And compassion, like they really care about other people, you can tell.
I'm getting a good feeling just thinking about these people.
Me too. And he says they have this strong sense of integrity. They do the right thing even when no one's watching.
It's like they have this inner compass that guides them.
I think that's a great way to put it. And what I really liked is how he pointed out that they're not doing it for attention or recognition. It's just who they are.
They're not out there bragging or trying to be the center of attention.
No, they're actually more likely to be the ones lifting other people up, sharing praise and acknowledging the contributions of others.
That's interesting. It's like they're not threatened by other people's success. They actually celebrate it.
Exactly. And they don't feel the need to hog the spotlight. They're happy to see others shine.
I like that it's a real abundance mindset. Like there's enough good to go around.
And, he uses this analogy that I thought was really powerful. He talks about how a good character is like someone who, if they notice you're struggling to keep up, they'll intentionally slow down so you can catch up.
Oh, wow, that's so simple, but it really speaks volumes, doesn't it?
It does. It's like they have this natural empathy. They can sense when someone needs a little extra support, and they adjust their pace accordingly.
It's so considerate, and I think it tacks into something really fundamental about human connection. Like we all crave that sense of belonging and support.
Right. And think about all those times when you maybe felt overwhelmed or unsure of yourself and someone just offered a helping hand or just waited patiently for you to figure things out.
It makes a huge difference, doesn't it? It can really boost your confidence and make you feel like you're not alone.
Absolutely. And, I was thinking, what drives this in people? Is it purely altruistic or is there something more to it?
That's a great question. It's like, are they just wired that way, or is it a conscious choice they're making?
I mean, maybe it's a bit of both. Maybe some people are naturally more inclined to be helpful and compassionate, but I also think it can be cultivated.
Like a muscle you can strengthen over time.
Exactly. And Ray actually gives some really practical advice on how we can interact with good characters in a way that benefits both them and us.
Okay, I'm all ears because I definitely want more of these good people in my life.
Well, he says, first of all, nurture those relationships. Like, really make an effort to spend time with those people, get to know them, and learn from them.
Makes sense. You want to surround yourself with good influences.
And he also suggests seeking them out as mentors, people you can go to for guidance and advice.
Yeah, because they've probably navigated some tough situations themselves and can offer valuable insights.
And importantly, he emphasizes the need to appreciate them, to actually tell them how much you value their friendship, their positive qualities.
I think that's so important, but it's easy to take those good people for granted sometimes.
It is. It's like we assume they know how much we appreciate them, but actually hearing it can make a huge difference.
It reinforces those positive behaviors and strengthens the bond between you.
And Ray shares this quote that I think perfectly captures the essence of a good character. He says, "The face is the mirror of the mind, and eyes without speaking confess the secrets of the heart."
Wow, that's beautiful. It's like their inner goodness shines through in their outward appearance.
And he links that to the way they carry themselves, often with a warm smile and compassionate eyes that just reflect their genuine nature.
It's like you can almost see their heart through their eyes.
It's true. And, it reminds me of that verse in Romans 12:9. Let love be genuine. Abhor what is evil. Hold fast to what is good.
It's a reminder that goodness is something we should actively seek out and embrace, both in ourselves and in others.
And I think Ray's point about the universal need for supportive people really underscores that. We all thrive when we're surrounded by goodness, don't we?
Absolutely. It lifts us up and helps us become better versions of ourselves.
Okay, so now let's shift gears a bit and talk about the next category, which is Maybe not as pleasant to think about.
I have a feeling I know where this is going.
Yeah, the bad character.
Okay, let's hear it. What are the telltale signs of a bad character, according to Ray?
Well, he describes them as being deceptive, deceitful, not exactly trustworthy.
Right, the kind of people who might try to pull the wool over your eyes.
And he also says they tend to be selfish and manipulative, always looking out for number one.
So, not exactly the type of people you want to confide in or rely on.
Definitely not. And often they can be quite judgmental, too. They're, quick to criticize others and point out their flaws.
That's interesting. It's like you need to put others down to feel better about themselves.
I think you might be onto something there, and Ray actually touches on that later on. But what's really insightful is his advice on how to approach these bad characters.
Okay, I'm curious about this because I've definitely had some tricky encounters with people like this.
Well, he says be cautious. Like, don't just blindly trust them or let them into your inner circle.
Makes sense you don't want to get caught in their web of manipulation.
And he also emphasizes the importance of setting boundaries, making it clear what you're comfortable with and what you're not.
Yeah, because they might try to push those boundaries or take advantage of your kindness.
Right, and he uses this phrase that I thought was really clever. He says, be wise as a serpent, but harmless as a dove.
Ooh, I like that. It's like, be aware of their potential for harm, but don't scoop to their level.
Exactly, you don't have to fight fire with fire. You can just protect yourself and walk away.
So, what kind of red flags should we be looking out for? How can we tell if someone might be a bad character?
Well, one thing Ray points out is their tendency to talk badly about other people, even behind their backs.
Ooh, yeah, the gossipers, the ones who always has something negative to say about everyone.
And he makes this really important point. He says, if someone is constantly bad-mouthing other people when you're around, you can bet they're doing the same thing about you when you're not there.
That's a good point. It's like their negativity isn't selective, it's a pattern of behavior.
And it really makes you think twice about trusting someone who's always putting others down.
It makes you wonder what insecurities they're trying to cover up.
Exactly. And Ray actually has a quote that sheds light on this. He says, look deep into the souls of a bad character, and you'll see fear and insecurity masked by arrogance.
Wow, that's deep. It's like their negativity is a defense mechanism, a way to feel superior by diminishing others.
It's like they're trying to build themselves up by tearing other people down.
And it reminds me of that verse in 1 Corinthians 15:33, do not be deceived. Bad company ruins good morals.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. It's a reminder that who we surround ourselves with can actually influence our own values and behavior.
So, like, negativity can be contagious. If you spend too much time around people who are always complaining or gossiping, it can start to rub off on you.
Absolutely. And that's why Ray stresses the importance of limiting the influence of bad characters in our lives.
It's a form of self-preservation, protecting our own mental and emotional well-being.
And speaking of self-preservation, that brings us to the final category, the one we've all been kind of bracing ourselves for.
Uh-oh, I think I know what's coming.
Yeah, the ugly character.
Okay, let's hear it. What makes someone an ugly character in Ray's view?
Well, he describes them as being toxic, wicked, even harmful to those around them.
So this is like next level bad, right? It's not just annoying or unpleasant. It's actually damaging.
Exactly. And he talks about how their words and actions can leave deep, lasting scars, even long after the relationship is ended.
It's like they leave a trail of destruction in their wake.
And his advice for dealing with these individuals is pretty straightforward, but it can be tough to actually implement.
I can imagine. So what does he suggest?
Well, first and foremost, establish strong boundaries. Like impenetrable walls, don't let them get close enough to hurt you.
Yeah, because once they're in, it can be hard to get them out.
And he also says minimize contact as much as possible, even to the point of complete avoidance if necessary.
Wow, that's serious. But I guess sometimes it's the only way to protect yourself.
It is, and it's not about being mean or spiteful. It's about prioritizing your own well-being.
Self-preservation above all else.
Exactly. And what really struck me about this category is the way Ray emphasizes the intentionality behind their actions.
It's like they're not just careless or insensitive, they actually derive pleasure from causing pain.
That's what makes it so disturbing. And he uses this quote that really drives that point home. He says, evil is always there in the ugliness of a sneer or a snare, but goodness speaks softly through the tenderness of a smile.
Wow, that's powerful. It's like their outward expressions reflect their inner darkness.
And it contrasts so sharply with the genuine warmth and compassion of a good character.
It's like night and day, really.
And, even though Ray is talking about protecting ourselves from these ugly characters, he also brings in a spiritual perspective.
Oh, I'm curious to hear this.
He references Matthew 5:44, but I say to you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you.
That's a tough one, especially when someone has hurt you deeply.
It is, and Ray makes it clear that he's not saying we have to endure abuse or put ourselves in harm's way.
So it's not about being a doormat or letting them walk all over you.
No, it's about recognizing that even those who exhibit ugly behavior are still human beings, and we can still have compassion for them from a distance.
It's like you can acknowledge their struggles without letting their negativity poison you.
Exactly, and I think that's a really important distinction to make.
So, just to recap, we've got the good, the bad, and the ugly. The good are the ones who uplift and inspire us. The bad are the ones we need to be cautious of and set boundaries with. And the ugly are the ones we need to protect ourselves from.
And race framework gives us a really helpful lens through which we can view our relationships and make more informed choices about who we let into our lives.
It's like a roadmap for navigating the complexities of human interaction.
Exactly, and it's not just about labeling people as good or bad or ugly. It's about understanding the different ways people can impact our lives and making choices that support our own well-being.
And sometimes that means walking away from relationships that are no longer serving us.
And as we're wrapping up here, I think it's important to remember that none of us are perfect. We all have the capacity for good, bad, and even ugly behavior.
That's true. We all have our moments.
And I think Ray's message is ultimately about self-awareness, taking a look in the mirror and asking yourselves, which of these character types am I embodying right now?
That's a powerful question, and it can be a bit uncomfortable to answer, honestly.
It can be, but it's also an invitation to grow, to become more conscious of our actions and their impact on others.
And maybe, just maybe, to strive to be a little bit more good in the world.
I think that's a goal we can all get behind.
Absolutely, and I think Ray would be proud of us for even having this conversation.
Me too.
So there you have it, folks. Food for thought, courtesy of Ray Navarro.
Go check out his work if you haven't already.
Seriously, he's got some great stuff out there.
And until next time, keep reflecting, keep learning, and keep striving to be the best version of yourself.
That's the thin stuff right there.
You got it.